Joining us now in studio is the Hall of Famer. You can tell by all 5 rings. The only guy with 5 rings in the history of the NFL. How's that feel, man?
Man, hey, you know, when you're on top of that mountain, you get lightheaded sometimes being the king, you know?
Well, you might have company with Tom Brady.
Hey, you know what? I ain't afraid, but you know what? I'm the first.
Yeah.
It'll be the asterisk right there. Hey, the first one to get there, you know?
Well, this is like Tom Shula never wanting a team to go undefeated, so he pops a bottle of champagne. Do you do the same when Brady loses?
No.
Okay.
No, because, you know, I believe that that records are made to be broken, and I look forward to that day. Because, you know, I get tired of people saying, that, you know, that I'm the only one, you know, and, you know, great teams reach down deeply to achieve great goals for different people.
Well, you had the fortunate career of playing for 2 great organizations. But here's the deal about this book, and this is what I found compelling, is that there were a lot of Hall of Famers that you played with in both the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Nobody really knew or understood Charles Haley. You did not have a relationship with the media. So when this book came out, I learned more about Charles Haley in the last 3 days than I did covering you your entire career in San Francisco. But I think to understand Charles Haley, you have to sort of go back to Gladys, Virginia. You had an interesting childhood. Tell me about your home. It didn't have plumbing. The trick for you was walking down the street to get water for the outhouse.
Yeah, we had a lot of things, a lot of struggles, but we, you know, when we grew up, it was 2-bedroom house, and at the beginning, and we had to go to next door to get well water, to take baths, to, you know, for everything, and then at nighttime, you got to walk way down there with a flashlight to the outhouse. But you know, my mom and dad did the best they could, and by the time I got in 3rd grade, we had a house with plumbing and everything. But they worked extremely hard, and they sacrificed a lot for us. And you know, the thing that I love about my parents the most is that they never talked about what they went through, because they didn't want to destroy our future. They pushed us to be better than them, to you know, get an education, to be a good citizen and love the Lord.
I want to read an excerpt from your book. Quote, "I was fat growing up. When we started playing organized football, I was always the kid that had to put on 2 plastic jackets and run around to lose weight. The only problem, I was no good. I wasn't good at anything, and my brothers were good at everything. I pretty much became a class clown. When we picked teams at school in the neighborhood, I was never picked, even by my own brothers. I remember all that stuff. You never forget those childhood scars." And I'm wondering, the Charles Haley I knew during his playing career, or tried to get to know but couldn't, had to do with the kid growing up with those emotional scars.
Yeah, and it's still there. I'm not close to my brothers. You know, I'm trying my hardest out to do it. I don't even like my high school. I hate going back to that. All I knew is that I got tired of picking tobacco. I got tired of you know, shoveling cow manure. I got tired of getting in silos. I got tired of chasing cows. You know, I did every dirt shit job that you could think of, and I just got tired of, and God gave me an opportunity to go to college. It's me and my brother Lawrence were both supposed to go to James Madison, and he backed out because he felt like William Campbell didn't give him the tools to win with. And me, you know what, I'm a visionary. I did not want to be there. All I wanted was the opportunity, and the head coach gave me that. And
you go to James Madison, and at one point, a woman helps you out. You give her a paper an assignment, and she says, quote, "This paper is maybe of an 8th grader." How are you at James Madison? How are you possibly at James Madison as a student and an athlete? What was your reaction when you got that?
Well, I grabbed my paper and ran out. That's what I did. You know, the coward in me, the fear in me ran deep, and I ran probably about 20 paces outside the door, And as tears run down my eyes, I stopped, and I said, you know what? If I want to play, if I want to not go back to Gladys, I said I need help. So I went in. And I said, ma'am, I said, will you help me? She said, I'll help you, but I won't write your paper. And I said, ma'am, that's all I asked for. And I was there for 4 years. For 4 years, I was in there with the lady, and she helped me. She pushed me. And you know, today I'm so grateful for that. You know, and then the other thing is that my head coach sent me to a psychiatrist there too, Dr. Wallace, not Wallace, Dr. Nelson. And she helped calm some of the anger down, because, you know, my coach ran me to death, and I did every crab punishment job you can say. And my coach asked me, what I'm gonna do with you? I said, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you ain't gonna break my spirit.
You met some people who were incredibly instrumental in helping you through life, but more important, what I gather, is they gave you a much-needed confidence that you didn't get from your siblings or what was taking place in Gladys. Is that right?
Correct. I had a head coach in Charles McMillan who helped me unball my fist. And then I went to the 49ers, and Bill Walsh, you know, God, how much did I love him, man. I used to just sit there and listen to him.
Let me get the story of Bill Walsh. So Bill Walsh knew how to pick talent. In fact, in 1986, Charles Haley comes to the 49ers, but 1986 is arguably the best draft in NFL history. Larry Roberts, Tom Rathman, Tim McKyer, John Taylor, Charles Haley, Steve Wallace, Kevin Fagan, Don Griffin. You got an awesome defensive line in that draft. You got 2 starting cornerbacks. You got an all-pro offensive lineman. It's spectacular. No, you get drafted at a James Madison, and you go to the airport to San Francisco. What happens?
Oh God, it scared the shit out of me. I never, I only saw black and white. So when I got to the airport in San Francisco, I didn't know what to go, because I'd never been in airports like that. And I asked a white guy. He turned around and started speaking another language to me. I asked a black guy. He spoke another language. I go, oh my God. I said, hey, where the hell am I? And I went back to the gate. I went back to the gate, and I sat down. Thank God that John Gruden, you know, the announcer.
Yeah.
He came. He was the guy that picked guys up from the airport at that time.
John Gruden was a messenger.
Yes, he was. He did the dumb stuff before he became the Super Bowl champ.
John Gruden was your chauffeur.
Yeah.
No.
He laughs. We have big fun laughing about that all the time.
Now he is in the car, and I want to make sure I quote this right. He says, how excited are you to be playing for Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and Ronnie Lott? And what did you say?
Who are they? Hey, you know what? You only had the Redskins and Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan to this day. But I never knew. When I got there, the first preseason game, I go down there. They have that little book there. So I saw it opening and looking. And then I looked at Joe, and I went about 10 pages on him. So I thought, oh my God. So I looked over there to make sure it was Joe, and then I go another Ronnie. So you know, and I'm going like, wow, Pinocchio. I call Joe Pinocchio, man, because that nose.
Because of his nose.
Yeah. I said, man, I go over there and say, man, good Lord. I said, hey. They must have colored your nose, because you look that big in there.
In fact, you had that kind of ongoing relationship with Joe in the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because Joe was a prankster, and so were you.
Hey, Joe was the ultimate prankster. Joe was the best teammate any man could ask for. And I mean, for him to have that kind of stature, you know, and for him to just play. I mean, he was like me, 16-year-old kid just having fun.
Yeah.
You know, we loved the damn game. You know, I remember Joe getting hit hard, and he goes, did he catch a ball? He wasn't worried about getting hit. He just wanted to know, make sure they caught the ball. And I'm going like, wow, you know. He meant a lot to me.
There was a lot of pranks going on in that locker room. That was a fun locker room to be in.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody did this to you. They taped your hands behind your back, taped your feet around the goalpost, even taped your neck or your head to the. Who did that?
It was about 10 of them off in line. They grabbed me and the D line, Michael Carter and them, and they took me there and they taped my feet. They taped the top of my head. They even put a jock in my mouth. I don't know if it was clean or dirty, dog. I'm going like, damn. And then, hey, as they were taking me, I had a choice: either go, or try to fight back and get hurt. So I just let them do it, and I'm just thank God that Bill Walsh walked out on the patio and saw me out there and said somebody to cut me down.
Bill Walsh saved you.
Oh, he saved me, dog. But you know what? That's when I knew something was wrong with me because I couldn't let it go. They did it in fun, but it's taken me a long time to forgive those guys for that because they put their hands on me, and no matter what they think, I don't put my hands on other people, and I just couldn't let it go. I had to get them back.
Yeah. Well.
And then the hate just increased.
You become a difficult guy in the locker room.
Correct.
With the 49ers. You didn't have a lot of good relationships with the players, including Steve Young. What was the issue that Joe got traded, that Steve wasn't Joe, or what was the problem with Steve?
Well, I love Joe Montana. Steve and Joe are totally opposite. Steve, he never talked. He was a loner. Joe was always exciting. Joe was there from the beginning for me. And I loved Joe, and then when Steve came, I felt like Steve was trying to take his job, push him out, and I couldn't forgive him for that, man. It was a lot of things. Ronnie got cut, everybody that I loved got cut that year, so it took a toll on me, and I took it out on Steve when I shouldn't have.
There was something that happened in 1991. You said Ronnie left. And you arrived at training camp in 1991, in your words, full of piss and more piss. You were angry at the world, more than usual. In my mind, it was all because of George Seifert, that he sent Ronnie Lott packing. So this is a keg of dynamite that is building up, right? Relationship isn't good with Seifert. It's not good with Steve. And then you guys lose to the Raiders. And Ronnie Lott's, this is at Candlestick Park, Ronnie's in the other locker room, right? He's playing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I think I probably had a nervous breakdown or something. I couldn't control my emotions, and the anger and the hate came out. First of all, you have to remember, they cut Ronnie at the Pro Bowl. I was right there with Ronnie when he got cut at the Pro Bowl. And so they humiliated him. And I couldn't forgive him for that. Because, that's not right. And hey, you take out the ones that, him and Coleman Policy was the architects of getting rid of all of my guys, man. So you know what? I made a conscious decision that, it don't matter what they say or do. I didn't want to be there. So whatever I had to do to get out, I did.
But you had essentially a nervous breakdown, in your words, in that locker room, and it took Ronnie Lott to come over from the other locker room to calm you down.
Yeah, I was yelling and screaming at the team and stuff, and all of a sudden, George wanted me to sit down, and I turned and I swung and I hit the brick wall, and then guys grabbed me and I was swinging, and I almost put my hand through that glass door where that wire is, so I cut my wrist and everything up. So I'm bleeding like crap, and doctors and them, they standing at the door going like, I ain't going over there. And so they go get Ronnie, and Ronnie comes in, man, and gives me a hug, and it's, the doctor was able to look at me and stuff, but from then on, for about 3 or 4 games, it was just really, really emotional for me, and I couldn't control it. and then I went into isolation after that, because a lot of my friends started, Michael Carter and Larry and them, they start calling me a crybaby and all this stuff. So I just said, the hell with them.
And it appears that your time in San Francisco was going to come to an end. And the 49ers, many believe, Ronnie believes this, that the 49ers would have won a couple more Super Bowls had you stayed in San Francisco. Yet, from Seifert George's perspective, or from management's perspective, you would become too much of a problem. Did you feel that way? Were you surprised when you got traded?
I became a lot of problems. I guess, George said the last straw was when I told him I wasn't going to go to London or Japan or wherever they was going. And so when they got back, they said, he told me, just go home. And then I went home and I came back over there, and they said I was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. And
then you go to the Dallas Cowboys, and you join one of the best teams in NFL history. Jerry Jones it wasn't John Gruden, it was Jerry Jones who picked you up at the airport.
Yeah, he had to see what crazy looked like. Yeah. So, yeah, he picked me up, and, hey, the thing I love about him, he's a good man. Hey, he's like Bill Walsh. He's loved me since I came to Dallas. He told me, I got your back. And, Bill told me that, and Jerry told me that, and nobody else. And I'll do whatever it takes for them. I didn't have a relationship with Eddie. I was just standoffish. I didn't want anybody to be inside of my head. So I missed those opportunities. Now we're good friends, me and Eddie, and the Yorks. I love them, man. I'm so happy to be here to try to help the team.
You have played for two of the greatest dynasties in NFL history. How fortunate do you consider yourself, having played with, great teams, not just good teams, but great teams? You're as much responsible over these 5 rings as those guys are, but you were in the right place at the right time. How do you feel? How fortunate?
Right place at the right time. Hey, so that's why I got rods in my back now, cages in my stomach. Hey, I sacrifice to be great. And, a lot of guys need to learn from that. There's no easy way to be great. None. Because if there was, I would have found it. And you have to push pride to get other people to understand that they need to push past that problems, that issue, and become winners. There's no easy task for that. Most guys, I'd say 85% of the guys are unmotivated. They're unmotivated. And you know what? The 15% are the ones that get the job done. So, when I look at it, hey, if you want to say I'm lucky, then I'm lucky. No, but why was the defense number 1, number 2 everywhere I've been?
I'm not saying you were lucky.
You just said it.
No, I said you were as much to do with these Super Bowl rings as anybody else. But it's like, I'll give you a good example. Jerry Rice is the NFL's greatest receiver of all time. Would you agree?
Yes.
But is Jerry Rice the greatest receiver of all time if Joe Montana is not followed by Steve Young? So it all played, right?
Nah.
No?
Nah. Hey, whoever was quarterback, JR was JR,
yeah.
Baller. That's what I'm trying to tell you is that top percent gonna ball no matter who is out there. Bill Walsh said it don't matter who get hurt. If Joe get hurt, whoever behind him gonna step up and play even as good or better. So one man don't make another man.
No, and one man does not a great team make. You were a great player with great players.
We're going to argue all day. Let's go to another question now, because I disagree.
Hey, let's talk Donald Trump.
Yeah, I disagree. Hello.
No. I want to finish up your personal life when you realized you had bipolar, because had you known earlier, then people might have understood Charles Haley a little better. Fair?
Well,
agreed?
I do a little bit. They used to call me Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I would come in on top of the roof, then come in for a month, not talking to people. I did not understand that. I just thought when I get pissed at people, then I just worry about Charles, and then I shut down. But now that I realize is that I had some real deep issues. I knew there was something inside me crying for help, and I did nothing. I did nothing. I sat back and watched myself spiral out of control when all I had to do is say, "Somebody help me, please." And now, it took me so long because I go to dinner and my kids are with me and my ex-wife, and they say something I don't like, and I, boom, hit the table hard, and we was in a really nice restaurant. And like, the tables around us got up and left. I'm like, hey, and they come over there asking what's wrong, and I'm like, and then my kids, the fear that I saw in their eyes, I said, I never want to see that again. And that's when I made the choice to go get help. And I sought help at a dual diagnosis center. I sought help at Michigan, bipolar center, because I need to find a way to have my brain not perceive something as a threat. When I'm telling a joke and you laughing, I'm going like, oh God, you know what? He's laughing at me. And when and I couldn't, then I forget everything I was doing. So they gave me tools. And the problem is, men, we don't ask for help. We'd rather run out of gas than stop and ask somebody for help. And so I get a form now to go into the locker room and tell kids that they don't have to do this. They don't have to fight the same battle. But with the league is into punishment, not treatment. And most of the guys that are doing drugs have something, the reason why they're doing it. And the league needs to step up and figure that out.
How are you today?
Oh God, I'm blessed. I am truly blessed. God has given me so much and in abundance. And I ask all the time. People tell me all the time, just be happy, be blessed, and because I don't know why. I don't know why I've made so many mistakes. I've hurt so many people's feelings, but yet God keeps blessing me.
You said that, and when I read this book, you know what my impression was? Is that you wrote this book for all the people that you think you hurt. And that if they didn't understand why you're doing things the way you were doing them in the locker room, that if they read this book, they'll understand you a little bit better. Is that right?
Correct. And every day I get to meet one of my teammates that I may have hurt. I saw Tim Harris today. We were laughing and joking. I got a chance to hug his neck and tell him I regret some of my actions. He was a great teammate, and I should have stayed around so both of us could be as great as we could be. And so I get to see guys, and I get to go up to them now and be a man and tell them how I regret what I did. And because saying sorry ain't gonna get it done, because you know what? You don't say what you're sorry for.
Yeah.
But when you say you regret, you actually got to name the things you regret doing.
Yeah. One more point I'd like to make. I'm going far too long. But there's a point in this book where you say that most of the people who helped you were white.
Every day of the week. Hey, the truth is the truth. I look back at my life and I realize that. And they empowered me. Although I'm still a black man, but I look back and I see who was standing behind me, propping me up, keeping me moving. And that's where it is. Today, a movement like at the 49ers with Kaepernick, what's the end game? Social issues are great. I know there's problems, but what is the end game when you start something like this? Because you know what? You put so much attention on the team and on the players, so you take away from what guys is. Because everybody in the locker room ain't going to follow you. And my thing is, if you're going to do something like this, you need the whole team behind you, not 2 or 3 players. You need the whole team. You need the ownership and management behind you, because I know what it's like being a damn individual, because I did that. I did that. I was an individual because you know what? I wanted to be the best, the greatest ever. And I became an individual. But then I had to learn to be a teammate. I had to learn that I had to sacrifice for those guys.
Do you think there is an end game for Colin?
I don't know what. Hey, I'm looking for what's the end game.
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, guess what? Every week, you know, it's less and less. There's less and less people getting shot. You know. Hey, I live in a white neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only black in there in Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
How's that
so
going
guess
over?
what? So guess what? But I go down into the African American places, and I bring education down there. I don't talk about it. I'm about it. You know, talking ain't gonna get jack done.
Right.
If you want to do something to empower the neighborhood, then get your ass down there and do it. You know, I do it. I'm not. That's the end game for me. It's education, because nobody can take that away from you.
Good for you. I think we've hit our end game, but I want to end on one quick story. I think it was 1993, the Super Bowl. It was in Pasadena, Dallas Cowboys, and you were playing Buffalo, and I was covering that game. And you guys win. And after the game, I'm doing a post-game show. I desperately needed anybody. And there's Charles Haley. And I said, hey, Charles, I'm doing a show, and you're like, nah, you don't do media, right? I said, hey, it's for San Francisco. And you turn around and said, San Francisco.
Did I do that, man, down? Hey, I must have been in one of them rages, you know, because they did send me packing. You realize that, right?
I'm walking away thinking, I just asked Charles Haley to do it in San Francisco when they threw him out the door.
Hey, the only thing they sent with me was my uniform, hey, and I'm mad about that.
You know what?
I'm still mad.
I'm glad all these years later I was able to sit down and do an interview. Hey,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Charles.